morning and thank you for joining us. The Minister of Northern Development and Mines says there may be a misunderstanding regarding some members of City Council's renewed optimism on keeping the proposed event and convention center alive. During Monday's council meeting, some members predicted that Thunder Bay could be in for $25 million a year over the next 10 years from the province under a new provincial infrastructure funding program. Council directed administration to put off exploring other options to fund the centre while they await clarification on how money available through the Moving Ontario Forward Fund would be divided among all areas outside the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. City Manager Tim Camiso said at the time that he thought the money would be allocated on a per capita basis, but Minister Michael Gravel says it won't be funded that way.
That probably is an expectation that should be dashed, because I don't think that would, that's not the basis on which the fund has been put together. The program Moving Ontario Forward is based on major infrastructure projects. Certainly that is an example of that would be the transportation infrastructure needed for the Ring of Fire, $1 billion. Certainly the major dollars needed for not just the four-laning between Thunder Bay and Nipigon, although that's a very good example from my perspective, but also other major highway work, other bridge work. I use the example of Mayor Canfield and how he speaks about the need to replace, I think 17, 18, 19 bridges in the Kenora area, other municipalities.
$15 billion will be made available to communities outside the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. A public consultation meeting is scheduled sometime later this month, where cities will be able to discuss where they wish to direct their funds. After 4 short months of being in Thunder Bay, the Guardian Angels have accomplished quite a few things. Director Ian Hodgkinson says City Council, Catholic high schools, and City Police are all on board with the Angels. And today they added a new partnership with Mac's convenience stores. Mike Albanese has more in this report.
In the history of the Guardian Angels in 38 years, we've never had anything like that. That somebody of this prestige, which would be a Fortune 500 company in Canada, somebody of this magnitude support the movement. That's pretty big.
Ian Hodgkinson says this new partnership with Max is exactly what the Guardian Angels need to catch on nationally. With a new decal in the window of this May Street Max location, the Angels have even more of a presence in the city and even more of an effect on crime prevention.
The residents here are responding in a huge way. A lot of kids come out every day. We've already recruited 7 new people here in the last week, just since we've been here, people coming up to us in the parking lot.
Manager of Security and Loss Prevention for Max, Sean Sporton, was in town to commemorate the new partnership. Sporton says crime prevention and community safety is a shared responsibility, and giving the Angels a second headquarters at this Max location will give the support the Angels need to have safer patrols. The Angels can also participate in some Max initiatives that reward citizens with free Max beverages for being good, productive citizens.
We want to support their community initiative and being out there, and we're going to offer them our Operation Freeze and Operation Heat Positive Ticketing program, so that they do engage youth in the community and people within the community. They can, engage them in a positive way, just like we do with the police and some of the crossing guards.
Sporton says in the fiscal 2015 year, there have been 72 incidents between 500 stores that are open every day of the year. So the number of crimes relating to Max stores are down already, and the partnership with the Angels may help that even more.
We're gaining trust and gaining ground in the city, and it's great. This is great. There is a plan, there is a strategy. It is going to spider web out. This is the step one. And the only way to get to the top of the mountain is walk, right? Step by step.
Sporton adds that no one expects the Angels to engage criminals if a crime is being committed, only to deter crime from taking place with their presence. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
The largest liquor store in all of northwestern Ontario is set to open its doors in 2 weeks' time. The LCBO outlet in front of Arthur Street Marketplace measures 14,000 square feet. Construction has been ongoing for about a year now, and the official opening will take place on the morning of June 23rd. The new LCBO will replace an existing store less than a kilometer away at 620 West Arthur Street. That store will close on June 21st, leaving a one-day period when both stores are closed. That's in order to move the cashier terminals from the old store to the new location. LCBO officials would not reveal the price tag for the new outlet, but they say most new stores pay for themselves within 1.3 years. And they say new and upgraded stores help the agency generate more revenue for the province, which is then used to fund health care, education, and other public services. The Thunder Pride festivities continue today. Early in the morning, a ceremony was held to open up Pride Week in the city. The ceremony saw around 50 people come out to sit in a circle at Spirit Garden and meet new people and share experiences of being part of the LGBT community. A drum roll group also played while smudging ceremony took place. According to coordinator Cara Ludit, the smudging ceremony was to ensure all hearts and minds of those participating in Pride Week would be cleared of all negativity.
About having an inclusive community and allowing people to come and join us, allies, straight, gay, trans, anybody is welcome to join us, and I really hope that we have a great turnout for the rest of the week.
Since year one, there was unanimous support with the City Council, and we had, a good group of people. And then last year we had about 2,000 people through the park. This year we're projected to have even maybe double that. And the city has been so supportive.
The 5th annual Pride Awareness Breakfast will take place tomorrow morning, and Pride Literature Night is set to take place tomorrow. Power is now flowing from northwestern Ontario's newest and largest solar project. The Rainy River First Nations have turned land settlement into a series of economic successes, but its latest one will keep on giving for the next 20 years. John Thompson has more.
The sun is shining on the land named after the rain. The enormity of the new solar project owned by the Rainy River First Nations is visually overwhelming. Its 133,000 panels straddle 2 townships and will create 25 megawatts of energy, enough to power nearly 4,000 homes.
And we've been a visionary, I think, in our area for our community, and this project is just a larger scale at $160 million, and puts us on the map from the renewable energy side of things.
Wilson's father was chief in 1980 when Rainy River First Nations filed suit against Canada over 50,000 acres of seized land. It was settled in 2005, granting the community more than $60 million. Part of that settlement was invested in buying back half the seized land, and now in the solar farm, a green energy engine that will bring a $2.5 million profit return every year for the next 2 decades. Wilson says there are already plans for that income.
We're able to create a utility resource for every member that's a Rainier First Nation member, so that it helps with the escalating hydro costs. It helps with them maybe at home. The other part of it, too, is that we're able to potentially use some of those revenues for other economic activities to involve ourselves in. The third part of it is to help us with some of the programming might be in the community, to help with, some of the other social issues that we might be having.
Only 40% of the 1,000 Rainy River Band members are living on reserve. Industrial projects like these have a higher aim of bringing members home. But Wilson says despite evident successes, First Nation developers are still facing an uphill climb.
A lot of people in the area sometimes feel that some of these things can't be done just because we're in the middle of the north, and these things can be done with like-minded people and with the will and desire. You can do these things. As I mentioned prior, even though with the $6 million that our trusts and our community supported us on, there's a lot of doubters that said, you guys can't get that.
John Thompson, TBT News.
It's a rare and difficult disease to diagnose, and about 16,000 people in Canada suffer from it. Tonight, a music and dessert event took place to bring more awareness to scleroderma. It's an autoimmune disease that hardens and tightens the skin and connective tissues. In the more severe form, it can harm internal organs and the digestive tract. Wendy Faring is the organizer of today's fundraising event. She was diagnosed with the disease 1 year ago.
A lot of challenges with it, rapidly changing. I lost a lot of mobility, a lot of other things. My skin got really dark and leathery. Parts of my face or parts of my body have shrunk. My hands are really cramped, can't straighten.
Farron also wants to create a support group in Thunder Bay. Karen Nielsen is the board member of the Scleroderma Society of Ontario and has traveled from Ottawa to support Farron.
To treat the symptoms, but unfortunately there's been no medication to actually treat the scleroderma. So, we're giving you meds to make the GI tract work a little better, kill the heartburn, but we're not stopping the progression of the disease, and that's what we're trying to do.
You can visit their website for more information on upcoming fundraising events. If you want to introduce your child to the sport of bowling, this summer is the time to do it. A pair of local bowling alleys, Superior Scleroderma and Galaxy Lanes are offering free bowling to kids 15 and under. The only cost is the price of a shoe rental if needed. It's part of a North American-wide program called Kids Bowl Free. You simply register your child online at the Kids Bowl Free website, pick up your favorite bowling alley, and you'll be emailed a coupon for 2 free games daily. Superior Scleroderma owner Brian Bonney says it's a great way to turn young people onto the game.
It's available for the young and for grandma and grandpa to join with them. We've been in business here. Bowling Center's been here for 70 years, and my wife and myself have owned it now for 28 years. And we felt it's something that we could be giving back to the community.
The program is already underway at Superior. Meanwhile, over at Galaxy Lanes, kids can bowl for free starting in July. As program participants, the bowling alleys were allowed to nominate up to 30 schools for a chance to receive a $1,000 grant.